say, all the bars are closing for God's sakes.
When I'm with order. Can you have roll call, please?
Pugh,
Here.
Livingston,
Here.
Weaver,
Here.
Mackey,
Here.
Aline.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Let me also welcome my colleagues who are not a member of the committee, Ms. Teresa and Ms. Little. I think this covers everyone. First item on our agenda is item 2, is approval of minutes for our November 20th meeting. Chair, entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any changes, deletions, concerns? There being none, can call the roll for the vote for the minutes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
That brings us to item 3 on your agenda, which is adoption of the agenda. Does the staff have any changes?
No changes, sir.
Suggested there being none, Chair, entertain a motion for the adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved,
Second.
properly second. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll for the motion to adopt the agenda?
Pugh,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Brings to item 4 on your agenda, which is items for action. Item 4A, Broad River Road Widening Project, award of construction and project budget increase. A reference to Broad River Road widening. Mr. Maloney, you handle that one? Thank you.
Yes,
Recognize.
sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Staff recommends an increase in the project budget to $73,445,000 and the award of the Broad River Road widening project to Palmetto Corp. Of Conway in the amount of $48,382,691.10 to include a construction contingency of 15% for a total approved amount of $55,640,094.80. In your packet, there's kind of the bid tab or bid tally from the different, the two bidders we had, showing the two prices that came in. And on that, it shows those are within 1.1 million or about 2% of each other. This project came in 16.9% lower than the engineer's estimate. And then there's page 14 is just the tally of the two. And page 15, there's a map of the 2.6 miles of the project, starting at Royal Tower and then going down your page to Dutch Fork Road. So that's pretty much the scope of it. And then there's two other attachments, and those are related to giving you information, providing information for the budget increase for the project. So at this time, Mr. Chair, if I may get into a little more detail on those pages 16 and 17. Attachment 3. So as I look at the first page, and it covers maybe a quarter of the page, it's a smaller spreadsheet for Transportation Penny Program Forecast Update of November of 2025. It shows the original roadway fund from the referendum of 2012, the original Greenway Fund, the Comet Fund, the program reserve, the interest minus finance cost, and the general fund payment. So there's another column just to the right of the total fund, and those are the grants received and into the program, as well as the wetland credit amounts that have come in. The difference between the grants and the wetland credits about $6 million. So about $32 million has been received as grants and $6 million is the wetland credit sales. There's an update in early November on the expended date, showing in those categories how much has been totally spent at $675 million, then providing a net remaining of $497 million. And you'll note those add up to more than, of course, the original 1.07 billion because of all these other revenue sources of grants, interest exceeding finance cost, and then the program reserves in there. So we forecast, and then we'll get into that on the next spreadsheet. But these are the overviews of the forecast of the projects remaining. 396 million remaining in roadway projects, 23 million remaining in greenway, bikeway, sidewalk, and then 37 was remaining in the comment expense. And so when we look at the balance between what's remaining and what we're forecasting, there's a $77 million shortage in roadways, a $26 million surplus in greenways, and then there's the other funds that are carried over. And what those do, those additional funds and all of it, is provide a $40 million surplus in the program using the forecast amounts. Attachment C on page 17 is those projects remaining, and the forecast amounts are there. So if I would go down to Broad River Road widening, which is about 7 rows down, 2.6 miles, 5-lane widening from 2-lane, sidewalks included at least part of the way. That has a remaining fund of $30 million. There's an inflation factor, and then you'll see the required amount is what we asked for in the motion, and that's the $73,445,000. It's showing that's based on expenses to date. There's $64 million remaining. That's design, that is utility design, roadway design, and right-of-way acquisition that has already occurred. Right-of-way is a big part of this project. Every parcel was a part of it. So 64 million remaining. You know, the award is at over 48 million. We also have accounted for the CE&I contract, some wetland credits that will provide, and other projects that are involved in using that, like another project coming up next for award and requiring that. So we request that project of a budget amendment based on that, and that's where it's coming from. So I wanted to give you the basis for what that's about.
Thank you very much. And again, we started on item 4A. We were just getting a whole lot of explanation to justify the funding request for item 4A. Any questions reference to item 4A?
June.
Yes.
Director Maloney, so is all these funds we're looking at, is this still the 2012 penny, or is any of this the new penny?
Nope, nothing's to do with the new penny. Everything we'll be dealing with until there's the launch will be the current penny. And
Current penny.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Questions? I know there's only 2 bids on this, and I know it's a large project. Is that common now? We're getting less and less bids on projects because of competition and so forth. How's that working out right now?
It's got to do with the size of the project and the availability of contractors. There's a lot going on around the county. We understand some of that's starting to have a downturn where we would expect more bidders. But at this time, we had solicited out to all the companies out there to find out what their interest is and let them know it would be coming up as a bid item before it went into procurement. And we found that there were just a few that would fit in with the scale of the project. Some are, much larger companies looking for interstate work, and then there's a lot of contractors out there looking for less than this that wouldn't be able to bond for this amount. So it's kind of a limited group.
I think it's good about it. There's only 2% difference in the
That is
bid amount, so
yes, sir.
that's good. SLBE goal. We still setting the. I know it's not required or whatever, but we're still setting those goals and say, here's what we like or whatever.
This particular project, thank you, sir. I didn't point that out. There was a SLB goal of 5%, yes, sir, and the low bidder has committed to achieving the goal.
I have a question about item 4A. Got a motion on that one. Motion to approve.
Second.
Properly second. Any further? Madam Clerk, can you call the roll for item 4A?
Pugh,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item 4. Recognize.
Yes, sir. Staff recommends award of the Broad River Road Concrete Protective Slab Project to Shady Grove Construction in the amount of $347,203 to include a 15% contingency for a total approved amount of $399,283.45. This project is in the corridor where the widening project is occurring. This project is preventing us from another type of operation, which would have been moving a 54-inch water main and parts of a 36-inch water main, which will remain in place. After having presented that to South Carolina Department of Transportation, they approved the plan to keep it in place as long as it had this protective cover. It's a very thick 12-inch reinforced concrete slab. It's 20 feet wide, and then the entire length is over 300 feet. So it's covering it as we build the road over it. The road, some of the driving lanes will extend over the project. And let's see. So it was higher than the engineer's estimate. I would say in a smaller project that can happen pretty quickly. This project involves steel reinforcement and concrete, and some of the bid items came in higher than that. And there was a disparity between low bidder and next bidder, but it was by twofold. So we appreciate the low bidding price being close to the engineer's estimate. So there was no SLB goal for this project, except that Shady Grove Construction LLC is a Richland County certified small local business enterprise itself.
Motion reference item 4B.
So moved, Mr. Chair. Second.
Properly second. Questions?
I'm just curious about this project. And I'm not an engineer, so I don't know a lot about building roads and things. But I've had just recently someone reach out about, water pressure and things in that area. So I guess this item makes me curious about, we're using this slab to protect the water lines. What happens if those water lines need to be, repaired or something? Do you go in through the concrete? Does it remove our ability to service those lines, I guess, is a question that I would have.
So, yes, ma'am, good question. It would, it's reinforced concrete, so it's not something that'll be easy to penetrate through that to make a repair. But I would say any kind of problem with that water main would be the kind that would be catastrophic. So this water line is moving water that's supplying us right now. It's supplying the north half of the county with a lot of customers and some 40 to 50,000 gallons per minute running through it. Like a swimming pool every minute. So it's not something that would probably have that kind of minor maintenance. And there are elements on it, like air releases and that are being addressed as part of the protective slab project. So it's not just putting concrete on it, but it's also making sure the items that are kind of maintaining the system pressure and relieving air pockets are still there.
And nothing, no work has been done in that general vicinity yet, where this is a protective or anything happens, right?
Yes, ma'am, and it's both a good idea and South Carolina DOT did register that in their letter that they'd like to see this done early in the process. So one of the ways to ensure that happened was to bid it out separately.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Now I'm looking down there, so where did that come from?
Yeah, and to consider about this project, and because legal, we had to deal with it a little bit. And the thing is, the other option was to move it, which would, the price would have skyrocketed by doing that. So this was basically the compromise. to get the project done without having to move it. Because two things, one, this price was skyrocketed, plus there would likely be an interruption of services at some point. So in order to not have an interruption of services, as well as not to pay literally millions of dollars more, this was the way to do it.
Sorry, one more follow-up if I could. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was going to follow up on that. Thank you, sir. That just triggers a whole lot of things that went into looking at this. And, you know, we had tests done on the thickness of the metal to make sure it's still the spec, and it was, you know, as far as what's the thickness of that class of ductile iron pipe at 54-inch diameter. It's there. It's had all kinds of test holes done, had ultrasonic tests. It had soil tests to make sure they weren't hot soils that would corrode the pipe, you know, or deleterious material that could do that. We looked at the risk of moving it, and it would require literally putting on collars that would have to remain in place, and then cutting out sections of the pipe while it's operating, pulling those blanks that you just cut out beyond a valve, and then shutting the valve. And those items would remain in place forever. So they're items that Columbia Water has a really good expert, manager, director level person that said, yeah, that would literally compromise the integrity of the water system, and it was the only thing. They just can't take that water down for any period of time. So that was all looked into and presented in a PowerPoint to DOT, showing them the scale of those types of valves that were like, 6-8 foot tall, that would be right next to the road, and the risks of what could happen during that construction in a blowout far outweighed, just the concern of building some road over it, as long as it has the concrete cap. This concrete cap isn't like a new idea. It's something that's an option in their own utility coordination manual by DOT or accommodation manual. So that's something that and then when they do that, they want to make sure that there was 4 foot of cover in that area that you're putting it in. So, you're not literally driving right on the pipe kind of thing. So that's all part of it, and it was all researched, for them.
I'm awe of like what you all get to do all the time. And so I guess my last question is just, so given all of this research that you all have done, these pipes are going to serve the City of Columbia and Richland County for a good long time in the future, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Just one quick general question. In the past, it was kind of normal for like a 10% contingency, then we moved to 15%. Are we really using that?
At times, other times we're not, but at times we are because of unforeseen conditions. And I look at projects like this, and I see potentials for that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Other questions? Proper second reference item 4B. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll for the motion regarding item 4B?
Pugh,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item 5 on your agenda.
Adjourn.
It's moved for adjournment.
Second.
Properly second. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll for the motion to adjourn as soon as you can? No,
Pugh,
just kidding.
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.